Hello everyone, I'm NiniFC and this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm bringing you guys the match review of our 3-0 win over West Brom. But before I get into the review, please, if you haven't pressed the bell notification button, please press that and stay notified to all things Blue Lions TV. And yeah, you guys, we did beat West Brom pretty convincingly. A lot of you guys did watch my match preview, and in a way I kind of just let you guys know how the game was going to be like exactly. With West Brom again, the key to this game, the key to why we were able to win, and the main reason as to why I felt that playing West Brom was probably the most perfect team to play to help us try and get some form for their later games during this month, was the fact that they don't really press aggressively. They don't really try to stop the wing-backs getting forward, and because of that, our wing-backs had a lot of joy pushing up forward, and that was the key, obviously, to winning the game. Now, with West Brom, for about the first, obviously, 15 minutes, they were applying pressure. Rondon especially, as I was saying, he likes to move out to the channels to try and provide some width and support out wide. He was constantly pushing to the right-hand side, and I did feel that Zappacosta was decent in dealing with him. At times, I felt Rudiger wasn't necessarily as great in terms of, for example, let's say he's winning the ball, he's hitting it out of play for a corner, and he's doing that way too much. And when you're playing against a team like West Brom, you can't afford to give away set pieces because that's their bread and butter. That's what they're relying on to try and get something from the game. So of course, we were fortunate nothing happened like that. But even with West Brom's approach to the game, as I was saying in my match preview, yes, under Pardew, they are playing a bit more attacking football in the sense that they're flooding more men forwards and they're pushing the fullbacks up a bit. And obviously when they play, it's all about spamming crosses inside the box and hoping to use their physical advantage to try and obviously overpower us. But at the same time, that can be quite a risky thing for Chelsea, because when it comes to dealing with aerial threats, we're not necessarily the best when it comes to that all the time. And one of the main reasons is the fact that a lot of players, opposition players, manage to find holes between the defence where they're able to then obviously attack the ball, and they've been quite profitable recently. And they had a lot of dangerous crosses. There was one in particular that came from Phillips, put in an amazing cross, and Rondon obviously, got good power on it, but he just couldn't direct it at goal. And you can see that the threat was there, but I did feel that as the game went on, we were able to really cope with their threat out wide. We were able to get on the ball more. Our wing-backs were getting much more joy pushing up, and West Brom aren't very adventurous. It really helped us that the fact that they did decide to push back, sit deeper, and try and soak up pressure. And that was really the most pivotal thing. Now, I was talking about Zappacosta. I do feel that recently, I think that was one of his best Chelsea games. And it was weird because he was playing on the left. At times, during the first 10 minutes, maybe he wasn't getting as tight as I was hoping he would. But he was getting into the game more. He was very aggressive when he was trying to obviously make the tackle. He was going for every 50-50, and I thought that it was a very good performance by Zappacosta, especially when so far this season some of his individual performances haven't been as amazing, but I was impressed with what he was doing. And like I'm saying, our wing backs were getting a lot of joy pushing out wide on the flanks. West Brom were sitting deep. They had their back five with a narrow midfield four, and then obviously Rondon isolated up front by himself. And this is where it's really the key thing in this game for me, in my opinion, was Cesc Fabregas. Now, I'm constantly talking about Cesc Fabregas and how important I feel he is to the team and the system. For example, when it came to West Brom trying to apply some pressure when they were trying to press us up high, with Fabregas in the team, with Cesc in that team, we were able to play out and beat that opposition pressure, because Cesc Fabregas he knows what to do with the ball before he receives it, and that's the key thing. He was manipulating it perfectly, sitting counter-attacking passes, hitting it out wide, relieving a lot of pressure, and we were able to then obviously keep better use of possession and make more efficient use of our passes, and that was all due to Cesc. And I honestly feel that he should be starting all the time. I think Kante and Cesc work the best compared to any other midfield partners that we have at the club during this moment in time. I think they really complement each other, and I just think they need to play a bit more so they can understand each other's game a bit, because in a way it is quite criminal in the sense that they haven't necessarily played as many games together than you think they would have. And really that's key. Cesc is key to this team because he makes our attacks make sense, because he finds those passes, plus he helps us play out. And in this game yesterday, as I keep saying, people talk about his defensive work rate, and I keep trying to explain defensive work rate isn't just running around making a tackle, it's about the positioning. I'm going to be releasing that video later this week. I'm going to be talking about Conte's training sessions and why positioning as a team is so vital and so key, and why that's the main reason it takes a lot of new signings a lot of time to get used to how things are done, because everything's drilled into the team. So we're never really ever going to be exposed. The only way we can be exposed is out wide on the flanks. So Cesc isn't really going to be at fault for any of that. So I think we need to lose some of that mentality about, defensive liability. The only reason is the fact that he doesn't maybe necessarily win all 50-50s, but then I think if we keep the ball a bit more, we're not forced to make as many tackles as we need to make. But yeah, moving on to Olivier Giroud. Now again, he did get that assist for Hazard. Very impressive assist, and I was making that point too in the match preview that I think Giroud will have greater joy at Chelsea compared to Arsenal, because he has two players constantly near him. He's able to do his first time layoff passes and obviously link up the play more. With Giroud, again, as I was stating, this is why Conte likes a physical striker, a striker that's good in the air, because a lot of times our game plan is to relieve a lot of pressure from the back by pumping long balls to the striker, who has to be technically adept at bringing it down and playing other people in. And we were seeing some of that partnership with him and Hazard, and I knew that it would be quite seamless because Giroud's attributes really complement the system and how Conte likes the team to play. So it was interesting to see, of course, an amazing assist made for Hazard. Actually, I'm not going to say amazing, that's a bit too hyperbole, but it was a good assist for a player like Giroud, who, in my opinion, should be making stuff like that. Great finish by Eden Hazard. I'm going to be talking about Hazard later on in this match review, but even then with Giroud, I felt that, again, when people are telling me it was an amazing performance, I don't know. With me, I like to be very selective with my words, because I think certain words hold certain power. For example, there's like a difference between saying, I love you to a girl and I like you. You know what I mean? I think with Giroud was just decent. Honestly, I think there were too many times, especially in the second half, where the final pass that he should have made to Hazard, he kept flopping it every single time. I know he made the assist, but I'm of the belief that just because you score assists doesn't mean that that should just, obviously, you should forget about the rest of your game. I felt that too often he was missing the final ball. I've got to say his application was good though. He was getting a lot of rough treatment from West Brom. Really dirty. I mean, that dirty slide tackle by Johnny Evans from behind, completely unnecessary. And then that earlier tackle by, I nearly forgot, that earlier tackle by Dawson on Zappacosta was disgusting. How is that not a red card? And it's just typical, where a lot of these teams, they're able to make these 1 or 2 yellow card tackles and get away with it. And when it comes to us, one tackle we make is an instant yellow card. Sometimes I do feel that we are targeted by referees in this country. I wouldn't be surprised by that, but a lot of rough treatment. I mean, Giroud's got his forehead bandage, getting slid in from behind. So in a sense, maybe I will give him the benefit of the doubt in terms of his performance dropping off a lot because of maybe injury and feeling a bit roughed up. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in that regards. But Eden Hazard today in this game, I make this point all the time. He's our most clinical finisher. Hazard doesn't need 10 shots to score a goal. Honestly, this is why I've always been an advocate of, if we can have a system where he's able to get closer to the goal much more often, he's going to be able to get goals. And that game yesterday, testament to that. The second goal was unbelievable. I mean, honestly, I didn't even realize. It took me like a second or two to just clock that it went in the net. I thought it hit the side from where I was sitting in the East Stand upper. So, impressive performance. By far our best player. By far the best player in the league as well. Honestly, he's going to be... If we beat Barcelona, it's going to be down to Eden Hazard. And I just hope that, if anything, because counter-attacks are going to be very important in the game against Barca, I just hope we find a system against them where we're going to be able to obviously get the ball to Hazard more, so he's able to run at people. That's going to be key. And when Hazard got his second goal, I was praying that Conte wasn't going to sub him off to bring on Willian, for example. So when Conte did bring on Willian, but he took off Pedro, I was happy, and I was hoping that Hazard would finally have a chance to get a hat-trick, because he's been so close this season to scoring a hat-trick. And honestly, this kind of sums us up, and this is why I wish sometimes we focus on our attacking displays in training. There is really no emphasis on what we do with the attack. Way too many times, simple, easy passes are constantly messed up all the time. It does get quite frustrating. I remember the Rudiger moment where he collected the ball from deep and on some crazy run. He was really, he had that tenacity all over his face. And then he overhits the pass, a simple pass that should have been made to Hazard. Giroud kept doing it throughout the game. It kept happening so much. So in a sense, of course, maybe having a better standard of player that maybe reduces the amount of times that final balls get messed up. Of course, that's an argument to that sake, but then, we're not really the team under Conte where, let's say a Thiago was available on the market next summer. Would we be going in for him? No, because he's not going to play in midfield, because Conte doesn't like his midfielders to play like Thiago, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, if there were more players like that, maybe Hazard would get more luck, but again, very impressive performance, and again, it was amazing to have Christensen back as well. It's very important, the attributes that he possesses in the middle of that back three makes a massive difference. Of course, he's not physically there just yet, he's only 22, you have to judge him when he's 23. Naturally, as time goes on, he will get bigger. That's what happens with defenders. Remember when PK was starting out at United and Villarreal, look how skinny he was, but look how he's got much more built now. I think Christensen will have that same evolution as time goes on, and I think once he adds that physical tenacity to his game, I think he's going to be a complete defender from then on. But even then, it's his reading of the game. How many times, let's say there's a threat out wide by West Brom, do you see Christensen supporting one of our wide defenders, sweeping all the danger up? How many times does he play out with such class and such grace as well? Honestly, it's getting to the point where I think he's been our most impressive defender so far this season, which is obviously a massive credit to Christensen. But anyway, just ending up this match review, it was the type of win we needed, because we need to pick up some form now. I think Hull City will be another good game, because that should further boost the team's confidence for when we do play against Barcelona. I think that obviously with this game today, West Brom maybe did play into our hands. Teams that don't press us, they really suffer against us, because you let our wing backs push forward, and when we have our wing backs forward, then we're able to control our possession in a final third, and that makes a massive difference. So that was good to see. I thought Moses was decent. I know on Twitter a lot of people were complaining about his performance. I need to maybe analyse him a bit more. I don't think I see any player with any bias. I don't think he's as bad as what people make out. I felt that goal he scored as well, that's the type of position I like to see, and it's no surprise that when Hazard was drifting to the right, making those runs in, it was freeing up more space for Moses in the second half to be able to run inside the box. I like to see that. Moses is very good at that, playing those 1-2s where he's able to become an option inside the box instead of being out wide on the right where he's got 2-3 players around him where, what's he really supposed to do? This is why I stress, if he could have someone on the left that could cut inside, free up more space for Moses, he'd be a much more effective player in the final third, because that was exactly what was happening during that 13-game unbeaten run. We were freeing up space for him where he didn't have to get past 2-3 players every single time. So I hope we can continue that. But anyway, you guys, thank you for watching today's match review. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.